Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mention. I come and say hello. Wish you a good day. So I talk about different things today. First, I want to talk about vibration, numerology, and the number one. For where number one is, I already spoke yesterday about this law of one, this law of the law of the truth, the oneness of life. For all numbers, for those who know numerology, each number holds vibration and they all connection. In the Torah as well, they teach that. But Pythagoras was one of the philosophers one of the first philosophers. He invented the move philosophy, which means in love with wisdom. That he was a mystic and a mathematician and a great wise person who had a school that formed people over 20 years of formation, which will allow them to come out of this school and create wise laws and become wise politicians, the 6th century BC. And so one of his ideas that the one was always eternally dominate all other numbers. No matter what, the one was always supreme in relation to all other numbers. For we know that God is one. In the Quran is one of the clear message of the Quran. Allah is one, is the source of all that is, and is alone. There is nothing outside of that. And also understanding that when the one becomes two, that created the separation, created a creation. God we were created in the image of God. So this one becomes two, but the great one has always remained one. So it means it's only the little one that believes is separated from the big one. So the mission is to return to that one, to that unity, to understand we can never be more or less than one. For there are people in the ego that have this really big ego that think they're superior to you, they're superior to me, they're superior to one, but it's an illusion. They will be brought down. And then there are some that are believe they are inferior to you, inferior to me, inferior to one. Those needs to be lifted up so they can realize their unity, their oneness. Once you recognize yourself as one, you treat everybody with the equal respect of the one. So it's all about reconnecting to that one. The Master of Wisdom taught says humans are ones, but they do not know that, and so they cannot be free until they realize they are one with the one that is all, one with the one that is love. For God is love. The love is the essence of God. And no matter many religion there are many revelation, and there are many fathers, many aspects of divinity that have been expressed here on the earth, but there's only one God. Whether it is no matter what, in the Quran it says that no matter what it doesn't matter how you conceive or think and call God, as long as you recognize His existence. And so, in many sense, for all those, in many sense, it's much easier to live in a society that recognize the existence of God, such as Buddhist or Muslim or Hinduist. Of course, there is a certain problem between those, but in essence, they're worshiping the same God in a different way, and they have different practices. That's what makes it's more like a social, cultural problems. But in a sense, then in some Occidental society, like here in France, if you say, well, you believe in God, that means, well, you are inferiorly minded. You're trying to find a way to make you feel good, because everybody knows that God does not exist. It's just a concept that we choose to say we believe we are Christian because we belong to this Christian society, but the truth of the brotherhood of God is not yet realized in Christian society. But it will come. I think there is a great deal of awakening that is happening, and everybody will awaken in its own unique and different way. Yes, so it's about understand. So reconnecting to this understanding, this light of the soul, that is the one. That is, it's through the light of the soul is the most powerful force in the universe, because it can overcome all things. It is a very, very powerful force, and in truth there is only one soul. I'm going to return to this understanding. I'm going to pull a few cards just to give guidance. The highest wisdom for us today is achievement. It's about achievement. What we need to achieve. Well, it's already achieved in many senses. It just needs to fulfill the completion. And what we need to understand is destiny. What is our destiny? To fulfill our destiny, to become one with our highest past of the self. What we need to do is karma. We need to transcend our karma. We need to alleviate our karma. We need to traverse this dark this shadow of the valley of the dead. It's like the dark night of the soul. I'm very, very grateful, because for 1 month I hadn't been able to sleep more than 2 or 3 hours a night, and so I was becoming paranoid, I was becoming depressed, I was becoming extremely annoyable, and last night I slept the whole 8 hours, and then God aligned me in the morning, and now I feel so good. I felt, no matter all those, I still have confronted with like silly some materialistic problems here that are extremely annoying, that doesn't try to take my peace of mind away. But in many sense I feel like released. So in many sense we all have to go through this dark night of the soul. When we want to elevate ourselves, we need to cleanse all kinds of unconscious thoughts and fear, and this dark night of the soul is when we feel doubts, we feel fear, we feel heavy, we feel despair, we feel all of this is something we need to go through in order to find the freedom, for it is always the darkest right before the dawn. And understanding that those who do not go through that will have to go through after their physical life. Everybody will go through that. As in Dante, the Divine Comedy, there is this, he explains the astral plane. We have to go through hell before we find purgatory, and then ascend to heaven. So in many sense, we want to be to have the courage to face that. It's a heroic action when you face your own fear. It's being heroic, but it's and if you have the consciousness for it, if you're ever in this situation, is to call on the Archangel Michael, to ask and to cut all the cords for you, or to call on the beloved Archangel Raphael to hold your hand, to assist you with the healing, and to carry you all the way through this valley of the shadow of the dead, which is the dark night of the soul. For it is a sign that the light is really there. There will be a great deal of elevation. They're just things that needs to be mastered. For we went through this full moon in this moon in Cancer. That was very, very difficult, and the outcome to that is trust. Trust is to know that, because even in my in this very dark period I've just been through, and it's because this is an astrological chart. In my chart I have Neptune and the Moon in Scorpio, which makes it very, very difficult emotionally. It means when I'm going through some depression, I'm much more comfortable cultivating despair than hope. But then God is always there telling me, no, don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. No, I don't want to. So, but it's part of the process. For it's like facing our fear is really courageous, and it's very. Another advice is, whenever there is a downwards emotion, a feeling bad of emotion, it is like a spiral. For everything here is made out of spiral. We live in a spiral galaxy. Our DNA is a spiral, and so emotion goes on spiral. So whenever there is a feeling, you can sometimes feel drained. It's like because the spiral is going down. But in a step of an intention, in a breath with intention, we can turn the spiral upwards, and the spiral cannot go down and up in the same time. So it's like it's about having the consciousness to do that, and we're asking your guides, asking your angels, asking your creator to assist you in every possible way. So help is always there. It is just sometimes we do not have the consciousness for it, but we're becoming more aware now. And so 2018 was a difficult year, I think, a little bit, kind of, for me at least. It was the year of the dog, I think, in Chinese astrology. In 2019, it was a 2 year now. 2019 would be a year with the 3. And the year of the pig, so it should be fun, it should be abundant, it should be much more pleasurable. I'm going to pull a few cards. The highest wisdom for us today is the idea of man, woman. It's about integrating the mental and the emotional to be blended into this unity of spirit, not to be dominated by the emotion or dominated by the logical. The two brains have to function equally. What we need to understand is nourishment or anger. It means that to be master of our desire, we have all those craving, whether it's physical craving, sexual craving, all kinds of craving. It is about being dominant of ourself, of our energy, and understanding that otherwise we become slave of ourselves if we do not dominate that. So. For I'm not really discipline is something that some people are born with a great deal of discipline because they worked it out in past life. But for me, I was very indulgent as as a Pisces, ascendant Pisces, like I say, with my moon and Neptune in Scorpio, is like when I was young, I fell into every trap of every escapism possible, and then it took me many years to disengage from all kinds of things that was part of my daily life. So now when I was going through that, it's like I had to give up all kinds of things. Like, but I'm kind of happy now. I'm no longer. There's all kinds of things that I do not feel like. I know I won't return once it's integrated. We don't go back. It's like doesn't matter. It's those things and everything in moderation too. It's like there is no. We shouldn't be too rigid with ourselves. We follow our heart. Follow whatever your inner guidance. Tells you is the most important guide is the one you'll find inside. We find inside our heart. What we need to do is spirituality and religion. It's about following the past. It's about trust that past to whatever path we are on is the spirit. No, the material path and the spiritual path is one and the same path. It's just matter comes from spirit, and we go into matter, and we need to return to spirit. And so this is the path that is wanted. So we want to follow that. Whatever's faith you have, is follow your faith and let yourself be guided by that. And the outcome will be the galactic. It will be being elevated into this realm of fifth dimension above the astral plane, where we are in total eternal. We'll find this eternal peace, eternal bliss, eternal joy once we have transmuted all those shadow aspects of ourselves. So trust that. Know that it's if you the more we do the work on ourselves, the easier, the faster things go as well. We're not in any rush, but in a sense we want to move. We do want to move along. It's like. I hope this message was interesting for you. I thought I talk a little bit about something that's in the most neutral way possible, which is administrative wisdom, and the world of politics and economy. It's like as a philosopher, I need to speak about that. As a spiritualist, I should remain outside of it, but I am outside of it. And in a sense, I was looking at France, but it's those true for every country. Every country's got different ways of solving things. We do not want to be rigid in any way, shape, or form. We need to be able to adapt to whatever the new energies come. Sometimes we have politicians that we criticize them because they used to have a position and now they've changed their mind into something else. But it's those who are not incapable of changing their mind that are too rigid that we should be worried about. We should be able to keep an open mind and see whatever is needed in the present. What we seek is balance and harmony. Because in politics, as you look at the political system, sometimes I'm still observing a little bit from afar the American politics, and there is a great deal of uncertainty that is going on right now. And on the market, there is a great deal of volatility. So I would recommend to buy land or art or like precious metals or things that is real. If there is a crash, well, we don't want it to imagine, but there's going to be a great deal of change. It's either going to crash or we're going to open to jubilee. That's where we're going to be. The whole humanity will be free. We'll have to reset the whole monetary system of the world. We'll have to reassess the real value and real asset, because they've created billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillions in this it's just a printing machines, and now there is no. It's just so we have to play the game in the way it is, but at some point it's there's going to be a readjustment. I just wanted to bring a few thoughts, ideas. One of the things that's going to be important in terms of society is to eliminate all forms of slavery, whether it is slavery to taxation, slavery to there is all kinds of slavery, and we need to eliminate all that. We need to be free. Whatever some laws also are draconians. The laws that were created to protect the interest of the corporation and their profit. Another thing, I'm all for business. I'm just need to, at some point, we're going to need to create law that regulates, that lead to more ethical and moral standards, so that everybody can function within that process. Another thing that needs to be done is to equalize between men and women. Men and women needs to be, in Confucius, man has his place and woman has his place in the family. But in society, men and women are equally divine being, and so there is not like man is superior and woman is inferior. It's very important. But we do not want to put like say that a woman needs to be superior to men either. So it's about bringing the balance and the harmony. I think all politics, to be functional, should focus on the middle of the middle class. The more middle in the middle class, the politics to serve the middle class, to serve the center of the middle class, is essential for the economy to work. After that, of course, we want to eliminate poverty, but also we do not want to handicap those who are creating the world of business enterprise, those who want to create, to make things work in society, to involve themselves more. We're also going to have to be more eco-responsible. There is all kinds of ways and solutions, but sometimes people are becoming aware of the need for more ecology, but they don't have the means, and so they try. Well, they say, well, let's put more tax and more tax and more tax. That's going to change the climate. It's not going to change the climate. There is other ways. We're going to discover those other ways, and we're going to. But in essence, we want to realize that most of those huge companies are not. We're going to need to create laws to restrain them. It's like protectionism for the people. It's already happening, but sometimes their greed is beyond, and the greed for power. It's not just money; it's power too. They are overwhelming, and they take over everything, and so they consider humanity a product. They consider animals a product. They consider trees a product. They consider mineral a product. When there is a soul, a consciousness that is existing through all that, and so we're going to have to respect that we are one, and they are not more than we are. Those companies have been given the legal right to operate as a person, but they have no moral responsibility since they're not a person, and they have so much more means. So it's becoming really difficult to see all that. Of course, I'm saying that in very just a play. We are part of this play here, and so there is certain taxes that are still needed, and others that are not needed. So there's going to be people need to understand where their money goes when they pay a lot of taxes. Of course, we make money. We want to contribute to the growth of society, but there are a lot of things that are completely useless. Most of the money goes into war. Of course, war has been a catalyst for growth. In the past, the power of a politic was associated with the ability of being able to conquer other land and to take on the resources of other cities. And in many sense, there was this philosopher in 18th century. We were confronted between Montesquieu, French philosophers, that say, well, we need to. In English too, in England too, we need to conquer the world, and we need to civilize the world, and impose our value, impose our behavior. And then there was a great German philosopher named Leibniz who was saying, no, let them be, those people. They may be primitive to you, but they are fine just the way they are. You don't need to conquer them and impose your value on them. And that is what is created a certain karma between them. In immigration and so on, also wanted to speak about the fact where there is no superior, there is no inferior. We are all one, but there is no equal either, because we're all different. Yet we all, in the chart of the United Nations, we are all born free and equal in right. Which this is really what we need to. Being born free, it would be really great if we can live this world to feel that the children will be born really free from all this mental conditioning and slavery. I also wanted to speak about another philosopher named Immanuel Kant. He wrote an 18th century philosopher. He wrote a book named Philosophical Discussion on Perpetual Peace. And it's a very little book, but there's a lot of interesting things. He already envisioned the idea of a world in peace, because this idea of war was really assisting society grow for a very long time. But now we are living into huge nation states with they have massive armament. So any war could be extremely destructive to the whole planet. That's why we created the United Nations to keep this in balance. So. But in essence, there was two things more than two things, but it says politics is perception. And so understanding that whatever the only transcendental power of politics is publicity, which means there are people politicians that are doing something and then they are saying the opposite. But people believe what they hear. They don't believe what is being done. So people, some politicians, who sophist politicians, through they are very the facade. It's always a facade, and they're always like maintaining the facade, but they're doing something completely different on the back. And so at some point, Kant also revealed us that. Politics has to be subservient to morality, ethic. Otherwise, it is not serving the people. And right now, politics is subservient not to ethic, but to finance and to the world of corporations. So all those big corporations will have to be maybe kept in a leash. Just it's not a criticism for them, but there is so much abuse of power, and then people are feeling this distressed because of that. So I think the 21st century is gonna be we're gonna move this focus from acquisition at all cost, dominance and power. We're gonna return to the quality of life, quality of environment, and we'll move into the happiness, the quality. It's not how rich a country is; it's how happy the people that live in this country will be. And so those will be things that will probably come into the media, and people will discuss that, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of young people that will be clear-minded, clear intention, honest, that will be able to fulfill all those roles in political role in society in the future. That will be very soon, that we're going to be able to shift this whole world, so that we can move into a quality of life that will serve all, and we'll be able to restore the ecology, eliminate poverty, and move into a world that we can embellish and create more beautiful with each passing generation, as we develop this sense of peace and brotherhood. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I don't mean to make it too long. It's just so that I expressed a few ideas. I'm going to finish with a song of Jimmy Cliff. It goes like this. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yes, I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yes, gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Well, I hope you have. Thank you very much for sticking till the end. Of course, I hope those ideas resonate with you. Feel free to share, to comment, or to let me know if you have anything you wish me to address. Sometimes people ask me questions. It's outside of my competence, but sometimes I like to comment on different things, and I hope this was resonated to you. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much. Namaste.